We have another question here about soft factors that are highly valued in particular. And this person lists things like master's degrees, particular work experience, athletics, military experience. And I guess I would ask more targeted rather than from the perspective of after the fact, if someone is currently in college or they're a recent graduate, they're applying no sooner than 3 to 6 months from now, is there some soft factor that they could do in the short term within, let's say, 3 months to 2 years that might have a significant impact on the strength of their application?
Reviewing their application at length and making sure that there's no typos. I feel like that sounds simple, but the amount of applications that are put together kind of carelessly. And I think students forget that one of the most important skills as a lawyer is attention to detail. And to an extent, when students are not really giving the careful thought and their application's not really well thought out and really, we can't, when we're reading the application, we don't really get the sense that the student has thought about this decision long and hard like they should. It takes away from their application. Students often think of the application as different pieces in terms of like, okay, personal statement, check, resume, check, other statements, check. We don't look at the application in that way. We look at the application as how to do all of these pieces, describe the student that you're going to be in our classroom and how they're going to, how they inform our decision about what you bring in terms of your experience and background to the law school. So we're looking at it as a whole. So I think students really spending some time about what the essay in combination with resume and every other part of your application, what does it say about you as an applicant and how you as an applicant maybe fit the profile to an extent that that particular law school is looking for. So spending more time there and making your applications be more prepared and well-written and really showing that you took the time and care to submit these pieces to an extent as part of the bigger picture of who you are as a student is a worthy investment of time.
Well, it's interesting. I wasn't expecting that was exactly where you were going to go, because it sounds like what you're saying is rather than adding on more activities, it's to actually review the application and devote more attention to the process of putting together each part itself.
Yes. I mean, to an extent, I think that often students think that adding more to their volunteer section somehow is going to make them stand out. And having more honors is going to make them stand out, or having more. It's sometimes the less that transcends more in terms of the application. I mean, the things that we're impressed by are students that show that they're well-rounded, that they really have thought about their process, and they're really thoughtful about the law school process. And you don't get that by adding extra clubs, and you don't get that by, necessarily adding an extra honor or an extra scholarship to your resume. And we want people who are going to represent all kinds of different people at the end of this journey. I mean, the application process is kind of just like the beginning. And I think that most students look at it with such finality, like, okay, I have to get this and I have to do this and I have to do the LSAT and I have to, everything's a checklist. And then once they're admitted and they're kind of getting to law school, they're like, okay, now what? So I do think that thinking about it a little bit more past that, and why do we even have an application process, so that we can really evaluate students who are going to be lawyers 3 years from now. That's why the process is in there, and how do you fit that for that particular school.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.